At Wells Fargo, there were three very significant mistakes, but there was one that dwarfs all of the others. You're going to have incentive systems at any business, almost any business. There's nothing wrong with incentive systems, but you've got to be very careful what you incentivize. And you can incentivize bad behavior, and if so, you better have a system for recognizing it. Clearly, at Wells Fargo, there was an incentive system built around the idea of cross-selling and number of services per customer, and the company in every quarterly investor presentation highlighted how many services per customer. So it was the focus of the organization, a major focus, and undoubtedly people got paid and graded and promoted based on that number, or at least partly based on that number. Well, it turned out that was incentivizing the wrong kind of behavior. We've made similar mistakes. I mean, any company's going to make some mistakes in designing a system, but it's a mistake, and you're going to find out about it at some point. The biggest mistake was that, and I don't know, obviously I don't know the facts as to how the information got passed up the line at Wells Fargo, but at some point, if there's a major problem, the CEO will get wind of it. And that is, at that moment, that's the key to everything, because the CEO has to act. It had to stop when the CEO learns about it. The main problem was they didn't act when they learned about it. It was bad enough having a bad system, but they didn't act.
If you're in a business where you have a whole lot of people under incentives very likely to cause a lot of misbehavior, of course you need a big compliance department.
Charlie says an ounce of prevention. He said when Ben Franklin, who he worships, said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, he understated it. That an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. And I would say a pound of cure promptly applied is worth a ton of cure that's delayed. And problems don't go away. You've got to act promptly. And frankly, I don't know any better system than hotlines and anonymous letters. To me, I get anonymous letters, and I've gotten 3 or 4 of them, probably in the last 6 or 7 years, that have resulted in major changes. And very, very occasionally they're signed. Usually, almost always they're anonymous, but it wouldn't make any difference, because there will be no retribution against anybody, obviously, if they call our attention to something that's going wrong. But I will tell you, as we sit here, quite a few people are probably doing something wrong at Berkshire, and usually it's very limited. I mean, it may be stealing small amounts of money or something like that. But when it gets to some sales practice like was taking place at Wells Fargo, you can see the kind of damage it would do. Then they made a third mistake, actually, but again, it pales in comparison to the second mistake. They made a third mistake when they totally underestimated the impact of what they had done once it became uncovered.